takes place about midway through the campaign. At this point in the campaign, the Covenant are invading Reach at full force, and Kat, second in command of Noble Team, has come up with a crazy plan to take the battle to the Covenant.
All right, let's take a look.
Bit of a hike to the launch facility.
Any closer? It's too hot to land.
Copy that, Commander.
Move up the beach, Noble.
Now, I'm seeing that there are armor abilities here in campaign, just like there were in multiplayer. Can you
Correct.
explain how that works in the campaign?
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite as dynamic as it might be in multiplayer. We don't have loadouts, for example, but in campaign, we sort of want a particular encounter or a particular group of encounters to focus around a certain set of armor abilities. And of course, what you see here is Sprint, the good old default armor ability.
We've been engaged.
So it's not specific to the character that you're playing as, it's specific to the mission?
It functions very similar to the way that it functions in multiplayer. You can sort of swap it out at particular moments. So, I wouldn't be surprised to find some cool encounters, cool missions designed around specific armor abilities.
Now, of course, we're seeing right here, the elites are back.
Indeed.
The old foe.
Yeah.
How have you updated them as a new enemy?
We've absolutely updated them. We've spent a lot of time making the AI as smart as possible, as quick as possible, as deadly as possible. So I think at the same time, we're trying to get back to the high point of fighting an elite in Halo 1, and I think we've managed that. It's fighting elites right now. They're like the samurai of the Covenant. They're super deadly, super smart, and super fun to fight against.
That is awesome. So, are the executions still in the campaign, and can you do that against all the different Covenant forces?
Well, I don't want to ruin everything for you guys, but yeah, you might see that once or twice against other members of the Covenant. It is in campaign for sure. Lars is trying to do one right now, but he's failing miserably.
So here we just saw one of the new weapons, the grenade launcher. Are there any other new weapons that we're going to see in the campaign in this demo that maybe we didn't see in the multiplayer beta?
It's funny that you asked that. Lars just picked up a weapon right here. We didn't have this one in the beta. It's a Covenant weapon. It's called the concussion rifle.
What's its specialty?
It's sort of an area of effect weapon that the Covenant will use against you a lot. It does a broad area of effect damage when it's fired at you. It's very scary thing to have shot at you by the Covenant.
There's our execution.
There it is. Yeah. Lars didn't miss that one.
Now this is a lot the same as what you showed at the Microsoft press conference.
Yep, very similar.
But I understand we're going to get an extended look here.
We are about to see that right now, yeah.
So the big reveal here for E3 was space combat, which we're leading up to. How did that sort of get built into the Halo world? How did you come to the decision to put that in?
At the very beginning of Reach development, we sort of threw a bunch of crazy ideas at the wall for missions that we've always wanted to see in the Halo universe, and I think we sort of went. We wanted to do stuff that was bigger and crazier than anything we'd ever done before, and space. One of the first ideas, one of the things that we stuck to for all through production, and this is the fruit of that labor, and I think it turned out great.
So I understand this rocket here that we're getting into is called the Saber. Can you
Correct.
give us a little background on that vehicle?
The Saber is a prototype UNSC vehicle. Your background is Noble 6. May or may not have had something to do with the top secret Saber program. So just so happens that at this point in the campaign, flying the Saber makes perfect sense for you as Noble 6.
Now, I understand you're not talking much about multiplayer today, but how exactly would this whole sequence work if I was playing 4-player co-op?
First stage.
In 4-player co-op, I mean, first of all, we want to make sure that even if you're playing campaign, I think something really cool that we've done is respect your player customization, even in cinematic. So in cinematic, if you had gone to the trouble to unlock a bunch of armor, in this scene, you'd see yourself in the way that you customize yourself. In co-op, you'll probably just see the single takeoff, but then you might be in 4 Sabers when you get into space.
How did you approach the controls for the Saber? Is it kind of a little bit like the Banshee, or is it a whole new beast here?
It's absolutely a whole new beast. Sage, our sandbox designer, actually worked on Crimson Skies, so he knows a thing or two about flying vehicles. Yeah, it's very different than the Banshee, but at the same time, you know, we didn't want to make a flight sim. We wanted to make a very accessible Halo sandbox flying vehicle, and I think the Saber does that well. Got boost on the left trigger. You've got couple of tricks on the left bumper, and I'm sure Lars will show off some of the weapons any second here.
Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on here? What exactly are we defending?
You're defending a space station called Anchor 9. Like I said earlier, Cat's crazy plan to take the fight to the Covenant is to go into space. And Anchor 9 is just sort of the first stop. You need to stop here and take care of our first couple of early waves of Covenant.
Exactly how crazy would this be if I wanted to play on Legendary?
It's pretty crazy even on normal and heroic. So on Legendary, it's actually really tough. You know, your Saber has shields just like you would as a Spartan, but it's very brutal on Legendary. See Lars using the main cannon against a couple of first wave of Banshees.
How big is this playing area right here?
It's enormous. It's one of the biggest playing areas we've ever made. You can actually fly from one end to the other, but at the same time, we don't want you to be sort of flying aimlessly out in space. So a lot of the combat is sort of focused by Anchor 9 in this encounter.
Now here we're fighting against some Seraphs. Can you tell us a little bit about that Covenant ship?
Yeah, Seraphs are, they've actually been around in other Halo games. You've just never been able to get this close to them. It's sort of the equivalent, it's the Covenant equivalent of the Saber. Whereas the Banshees, Lars could just use the machine guns on the Banshees. You'll see on the Seraphs, they've got a shield, you've got to take that shield down, and then you've got to switch weapons to your rockets. So they're going to be tougher to take down than Banshees.
How big of a portion is the space combat going to be in the game? Is this kind of like an isolated section you're showing right here?
Yeah, you know, space combat is it's just one aspect of the Reach campaign. It's definitely only in this mission. It is one of the sort of crazier things we're doing for sure, but it's not going to be, you know, 80% of the campaign or anything like that.
How are you possibly going to top this for surprises once people actually ship this for retail?
There are quite a few more surprises that I think are going to blow people away. I'm super excited to talk about them in the coming months. But we've actually got quite a lot more in the can.
All right, well, it looks awesome. Tell us one more time, when exactly will Halo Reach be on store shelves?
September 14th.
All right.